Welcome friends, it is I, Hi-Rez LostScarf, and it's time for the Short Smite Beginner Guide to Anubis! That's right, the God of Death is here, at least one of them is, and this guy wrecks. He's really strong. His only problem, of course, is that he doesn't have an escape and he roots himself, which can be dangerous, but Anubis is very effective despite that. So, we're going to go over a lot of beginner stuff, just important things for beginners to know. Advanced and expert players already know this stuff, but those of you who want to get into Anubis and don't know how, this is going to be a great resource for you. So let's get going. Class and traditional roles. Now Anubis is a mage, which means he's got a great clear from his abilities, and he can do a lot of damage within seconds to kill people. Anubis is really great at this, and you'll learn how soon enough. Now for beginners, you're going to play Anubis in the mid lane. He's very strong here, though he lacks an escape, so you're going to want to have wards. He can clear very well, even from the first level, and I'll explain how soon enough. But the most important thing for a mid Anubis is don't miss your mummification. Now for solo, because of your strong lane clear, you can do solo very well, and you can fight very well there. You don't have to worry about a jungler, not as much as a mid where you have to worry about more things. Now Anubis, because of his amazing clear, is capable of jungling. He can clear the jungle very fast, and he can gank very fast. Anubis can rule the jungle if you position well, and you land your abilities well. Anubis's abilities. First up is his passive Sorrow. Anubis has 3 passives. First one is he reduces all CC durations by 30%. His second passive is he steals 7 protection from enemy gods, max 3 stacks, and gives them to himself. That means he can steal 21 armor from everyone and give himself 21 armor, which makes him harder to kill and makes opponents easier to kill for your teammates and yourself. And lastly, when you buy lifesteal items, he gets 33% increased lifesteal. That is huge. He gets more lifesteal than everyone else. Now, Anubis' first ability is called Plague of the Locust. This is a channeling cone attack that is in front of Anubis, and he is knockback immune, and you can rotate him around during it. His second ability is called Mummify, and it is a simple skill shot that goes through minions. It hits the first god, and it stuns them for a duration. His third ability, Grasping Hands, is an AoE attack that does damage to those standing on it, and it slows them by 25%. And lastly, there's his ultimate, Death Gaze. This is a straightforward channeling line attack that constantly hits. It can go through walls, and you can rotate as you go. And what's so special about it is you're hitting every 0.1 seconds for 3 seconds. So you're hitting 30 times, which means you activate procs very fast, and you shred armor very fast as well. Tips and combos. First tip has got to be, at level 1 with Plague of Locusts and a red buff, you can clear the minion line at the start of the game, which will give you a strong advantage if your opponent cannot do it just as fast as you can. Another tip is, because of Anubis' passes where he can steal armor, and with lifesteal, if you bought some lifesteal at this point, you can handle more than one god at a time. You see players, they just run away from bad situations and don't do anything to protect themselves, but Anubis can stand his ground and maybe even win a 2-on-1 situation. Or if that doesn't work and you still want to run away, you can drop your Grasping Hands be under you as you're running, and it'll slow down your opponents as you're trying to get away. Another Grasping Hands tip is that you can catch all 6 minions with it. If you want to make it easier, you can knock back some of the front minions with your basic attacks and then do it, but you should be able to fit them all if you position correctly. Another important one, of course, is you can use Plague of Locust to ignore knockback attacks, which means if you see Tyr coming your way, use Plague of Locust, he goes through you, and then you make him regret it. Very important tip is that you want to pay close attention to your positioning because you lack an escape. You want to make sure you know where you are, your enemies are, wards to keep a vision of where they could be coming from, and of course, potentially combat blink to save you if they do catch you. You don't have to get it, but it might save your life. And the last tip is you reduce armor. You do not pen with your passive, so when you take armor away from your opponents, it makes them vulnerable not just to you, but to your teammates. Now, Anubis has 2 combos. They're very simple. They are the 3-2-1 combo and the 3-2-4 combo. The difference is Locust and your Death Gaze. Now, it depends on the player whether they'd like to do 3 first, then the 2, which means you put Grasping Hands on your opponent to slow them down, then hit them with the mummification, then do the rest of your combo. Or you want to hit them with the mummification first, then put the Grasping Hands under them to slow them down after they get a stun, and then hit them with the rest of your combo. It's really up to preference for that. One or the other are both pretty good. They both do a lot of damage. It's just on you what you want to do. Now, when it comes to choosing between Locust and your ultimate, it's really a question of, are they low enough to kill with Locust? Are they low enough to kill with your ultimate? And if they have an escape or not. Because the thing to keep in mind is, your ultimate goes through walls. So if you find an opponent with a leap, you could consider shredding them down with Locust and then switching to your ultimate to kill them after they go over a wall, because he does go pretty far and he can go through walls. That's something to consider. And over time, you'll figure out what is the best way to go about your abilities. And also, even if you miss Mummify, if they're low enough to kill, you can still probably take them out because of the slow from Grasping Hands and just your strong damage. Purchases for Anubis. Now, Anubis is all about bursting enemies to death very quickly. Thanks to his passives, he is able to build lifesteal and no armor and still sustain very well. But because he lacks an escape, Combat Blink is almost required. You can also go for options like Beads and Aegis, or maybe some aggressive actives if you really want. But because of his attacks being DOTs, damage over times, he is very strong with items with procs. So think about all that when you're choosing what you want to do with Anubis. In conclusion, Anubis is a very powerful mage that is capable of killing gods in seconds. He is also capable of clearing quickly while being difficult to kill thanks to his passives. His only weakness is his lack of escape, so pay attention to your position and enemy positions to do well. Accuracy and positioning will be your most important skills to work on because, of course, you don't want to get caught in a bad spot and die, and you don't want to miss your very important abilities. If you miss them, you'll be in a very bad spot. And also, don't forget to buy lifesteal. Lifesteal, even a single item, will make Anubis difficult to kill, and you just want to be hard to kill, and you're going to make them regret thinking you're a free meal. So there you go, that is the Anubis guide. Hope it helps you out so you can do well there. As you play, you'll get better with him, and give it to your friends as well who want to play Anubis. The more people get better at Anubis, the better, because I like making people scared of Anubis. They think he's free, but he ain't a free meal at all. So that right there is the guide for Anubis. Alquang is coming up next. That is a magical jungler, and he is really good at doing that. And so that is the guide you will see coming up next. So there's the guide. I had fun from watching. That is what's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.